So right now in Johannesburg, a lot of people are noticing this influx in flies. There are so many more flies than what there was in previous years. There's a lot more of these little house flies, there's a lot more of these green bottle flies, and this is becoming to a point of should we be worried, should we be concerned? I am Nina Parry and I have a PhD in entomology. My work that I did as both my PhD, my master's, and also for my honors was specifically on flies, ecology of flies. A lot of what we're dealing with and what we want to talk about today is the house flies and those green bottle flies. These are the ones that are associated with us because they've learned to live so well in the environment that we have created. We are ecosystem engineers and we have created the environment that is just absolutely perfect for them, which means anything that you're throwing away that was previously on your plate or might have gone onto your plate at some point, and it only takes one female carrying some fertilized eggs and it lays a couple of those eggs, and in a matter of hours, sometimes days depending on the temperature, but those eggs can hatch out and you get the favorite form of our flies, the maggots. But the hotter it is and the more moisture is available, the faster they grow. The flies that we live with, they can live for up to 2 months, which means that their numbers are increasing as we're going through the summer season. So we're talking about a full turnaround time of between 12 days to 14 days, from just entered the world to ready to make more. So that's a big part of why we've got this huge influx in numbers. They can potentially pass on E. coli, which is a particular bacteria that causes dysentery and can really make people sick. But if you're talking about only 1 or 2 flies in your house, the chances are incredibly small that there's going to be this cross-contamination. One of the reasons for this is because flies are actually quite clean and they don't want to be dirty any more than you do. You'll often see, and sometimes they turn into memes or jokes, but you'll often see these flies maniacally rubbing their hands together like this, and then they'll like quickly wipe over their big ugly eyes. Not that I think that they're ugly. And they are actually cleaning themselves. And especially flies that are living in dirtier areas will actually clean themselves quite fastidiously. Compost areas can be a bit of a problem, but animal manure, which is a very clean way of saying dog and cat poop, those flies will go in there, they will then breed, and they're breeding very, very quickly. So if you have a fly that is landing on some dog poop outside, spongy, 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 yummy, 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 all good things, and then it comes into your house and then lands on your food and you just wish it away, you might then think, oh, that's incredibly gross, we're talking about a problem with bacteria, and it could be a problem. Why should we even care? Why do we not want to kill them? You might want to. And when they're in your house, I totally understand that. But what we need to remember is that these flies play in very important ecological roles. The fact that those fat, disgusting maggots that you just are absolutely grossed out by, they're food for most of the types of animals that you do like to see. If you're a big fan of birds, a common food for many of our generalist species would include maggots. The big thing that these flies are doing, aside from serving as a food for other insects and other animals, is they're waste removers, they're cleaners. They're literally taking whatever is not usable for other organisms and they're using it. They're upcycling those nutrients and making it available for the animals that don't and can't eat waste. The reason we're seeing so much more now this December is because it's so much wetter. Come March, we're going to reach a point where those numbers are going to peak. And then the best thing that happens with natural seasons is it's going to get colder. And as soon as it gets colder after March, those numbers are going to drop. The last several Decembers, we've had a lot less rain. It's been a lot drier. And with it being drier, the flies don't survive as well. We need to look at what we can do to minimize these waste problems before we even touch on trying to use pesticides or spray the flies with doom. The big thing that we can do is to try and minimize any waste that's being left out. So if you've just prepared any kind of meat, clean it immediately. They will be attracted to the smell of that meat. If you've got food waste that you're going to be throwing away, try and only throw it out as close to when the bins are being picked up as possible. Anything that has any kind of organic material, try and separate it out, keep it separate, close it up. There's so many different ways that we could try and deal with the flies, but one of the most important ways is to really just keep the kitchen and eating areas as clean as possible, and that organic waste needs to be cleared out as quickly as possible and as far away from your house, your space, and your place as possible.